afternoon, good evening, and thank you for watching another interview. This time I have a very special guest yet again from America, another motivating, powerful, well, I'll let him introduce himself to you.
Hello, world. My name is Sharwin Watson, and I am the Setback Strategist. And it's a pleasure to be on this interview today, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for being on Baylor Worldwide Television. It's always an honor and a pleasure to talk to people like yourself who are doing great things in the universe. So, Shawan, tell us a bit about you.
Well, I'm a motivational speaker, published author, life coach. My background is in sales, so I've done some corporate America work in sales and marketing. And my focus is helping people to transform, to get through their setbacks, and to also be able to pursue their purpose.
Okay.
So when I see people pursuing their purpose, that's what makes me happy.
Excellent. That's great to hear. Let's find a little bit more about you. So where are you from?
I'm originally from San Diego, California, born and raised there. As a teenager, I actually moved overseas for a while. So I lived in Korea for a few years, lived in Germany, and then I started college in Mississippi, and then I worked my way in 2005. I worked my way to Houston, Texas, and I'm still presently here in Houston, Texas, 10 years later.
Oh, amazing stuff! Amazing stuff. I've got some family out in Houston, Texas, actually. So, tell us more about you. Tell us more about tell us your backstory. Tell us what makes you who you are today.
Well, my story is, I was diagnosed with a learning disability at the age of 6 years old. I struggled getting along with the other kids. I struggled being teased. I struggled building relationships as an early child. It took me a long time to really get through a learning disability, but I can tell you that in 1996, I had a turning point, and that turning point was actually finding the game of basketball, because a lot of people don't realize this, is that before I became a motivational speaker, I was actually a ball player. And I later found motivational speaking. But I'll get back to the story. My turning point was in 1996 when I found the game of basketball, because as a child, I really didn't have a lot of confidence. I had a very low self-esteem. And so when I found the game of basketball, I started building a lot of friendships. And I built friendships from San Diego all the way to Germany, even later playing high school ball, pursuing college, and also professional. So that was a big turning point for me, because it finally gave me confidence. It helped me build relationships. And it really, the game of basketball, I played basketball for about 10 or 12 years, from 96 all the way to about 2006. And it really, I got a chance to go to England, but it really helped me build up a lot of relationships. But it also helped me to build strong work ethic, which I'm able to use now in business. So that was a big turning point for me. But I also had another turning point for me, because, like I was mentioning before, I struggled in school. But the biggest turning point for me that helped me now as a motivational speaker is in 2005 or 2004. I had a big decision that I was weighing out and trying to figure out if I wanted to do. I just graduated from high school, 18 years old, not really quite sure what I want to do in my life. And I was like, okay, should I stay here in Germany and work, or should I leave home for the first time and go and live with my relatives? So I think about it really hard, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a leap of faith and go and live with my relatives. So I get down there, and it's fun, because I grew up around there, so I knew a lot of the people there, but I was able to build some nice relationships. And the only problem was that me and my grandma, we really didn't end up right. So I ended up moving out of her house, but I built a relationship that really surprised me, and the relationship was with my Uncle Jerry. Now, my Uncle Jerry was the first person that ever spoke greatness into me, because you got to realize that before my Uncle Jerry, everyone else spoke down to me because they never really expected me to do, they never expected me to do anything great. So they would always tell me, okay, that's okay, you're just average. So hearing and seeing the way my Uncle Jerry would talk to me and have conversation with me and have me doing different things, it was different for me, but it was what I needed. And I can actually honestly say that my Uncle Jerry helped to work in the seeds for the things that I'm doing right now with motivational speaking, with training, coaching, writing books, and all these different things I'm doing now. He helped me to lay the groundwork because we all need someone to speak greatness into us. We all need someone to hold us accountable and to be able to not question the decisions that we make or the dreams that we have. He never once, questioned, well, I don't know, you have a learning issue. I don't know if you can do it. He told me I didn't have a learning issue. And it was because of him that I was able to change my mindset, because in order for us to be able to be transformed, we have to change our mindset, our way of thinking, the words that we speak, our vocabulary, all these things have to change. So that was my life coach. And he was able to help me with those areas. But not only that, this man actually gave me the tools I needed to graduate from college. I mean, I was in college, I was about to get flunked out because I was at a 2.0. And I don't know if you know this, but if you get below a 2.0 in college, they kick you out. Wow. So I was on the verge of being kicked out. And because of his principles that he taught me about being focused, putting in all the hard work and effort, I went from almost getting kicked out of college to getting a 4.0 and later graduated from college with a 3.25 GPA.
Wow, that's amazing. But I want to go back and touch on those areas we were talking about. You were talking about the learning difficulties and the things that were being said to you. What were the sort of things that were being said to you? What were the things do you remember in your mind? Like, the things that family would say to you that were hurtful, because it's very often we hear these stories of coaches coming from despair and turning their lives around and going on to do great things. But it's the stories, it's those words that we hear from our parents or those closest to us that say those things that are not particularly nice to us, that stick with us and hurt us. And some of us never come back from that. So what I really want to get from you today is to discover those words that were said to you then, and then be able to connect with the audience so they can say, hey, I've had that said to me before. And those people in the audience that are listening to this conversation or watching this video out there who may be going through a difficult time, who may be going through having learning difficulties, or people out there who just want to hear an inspirational message, going for a dark spot and they're young, tell me what it was like for you and what were the sort of things that were said to you.
Well, a lot of the things that were said to me a lot of it was outside of my family. It was peers. Right. And I remember being called a lot of names. I was called retarded. I was called stupid, slow, below average. All these different things I was called. I was told by, I was in special ed from first grade all the way through 11th grade. I was told that I possibly wouldn't make it through high school. No opportunities possibly for college. So I really wasn't planning on going to college because I was told that that wouldn't be a possibility. I was told that I would never be a success. I remember from family. I was getting ready to write my book, and I just remember my family asking me, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to write that book? And my thing was, when I was even trying to write a book, is that I made a commitment to God, because here's the thing. I come from a background of being a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. And at that time, before I wrote my book, I was one of those people who I would start something and I would never finish it. But I did not want to leave this earth. Had I died, I did not want to leave this earth with unfinished, what I like to call unfinished business. And what unfinished business is not finishing your assignment. We're all here on an assignment basis. And so I needed to do that. So I didn't allow that question that they asked me, that I really want to publish this book. So I knew I wanted to publish the book, and I was almost finished, and I was not going to stop because of what different family members would say. I just know growing up that, I was never told about being an entrepreneur. I was always just seeing people, go to high school, go to college, and then look for a good job. But my mindset is a little bit different. My mindset is all about being an entrepreneur because everything is all about legacy. When you work for somebody else, you cannot leave a legacy. And I'm always thinking about legacy, being able to leave a legacy for, for when I have kids one day and their kids. I want to be able to have something that would always be able to stay in a family. Those are just some of the rough times I had. I mean, I had a lot of doors close in my face. I've had a very challenging journey. I mean, I've been fired, from multiple jobs during my career. I struggled to find fulfillment with certain jobs. I had a lot of jobs that I hated. I've done a lot of odd jobs where I would really question myself. We always question ourselves sometimes when we get to a point, why me? Why am I having to do this? Why am I having to take out trash? I used to take out trash. I cleaned toilets. I've done all these different odd jobs. So anyone who's listening, I'm letting them know that I have paid my dues. So I had to do some things. I had to have some jobs that I didn't like. But the one thing I want to let anyone know out there is that no matter what kind of job you have, try to find out what the training tool is, because every assignment, every job that we get, we may not like it, but we need to find out there's a training tool in there. There's a reason why you're actually at that job right now that you may not like. It's a person that you're supposed to meet. It's some training that you may need to know, because everything is all about preparation, preparing us for our destiny, preparing us for the next assignment. And if we don't go through that, we're not going to be prepared for where it is that the God is trying to take us to go, where it is that He's trying to take us next.
There's a lot of things you said there that, obviously, myself being a part of Baylor Equal Wide Television, when you talk about legacy and doing for yourself, it's certainly something that is a theme that's heavily within I would say within the black community, for us to rise and to do for ourselves and to build and to grow and to develop. But on a more universal platform, when we talk about legacy, working for somebody else is all well and good, but as you said rightly, you can't build a legacy from that. You're building somebody else's legacy. You're doing something for somebody else. You're working hard for somebody else. You got nothing to show for it apart from some money, maybe for your house or to go on a nice trip here and there, but nothing for your own kids in terms of, well, you know what, this is our business. We're feeding to our family. And I feel that it's something that, again, I go back to our own communities, that we like to think for now. Certification, job, now. Pay now, and make sure you can cover for your pension, and make sure that you're in a good job that'll last forever. There are no good jobs that last forever anymore, and you're always a slave to your boss or to the company that you work for, because at any moment they can go, bam, we don't want you no more. And what can you say? What can you say?
I've been there before. I've been there. Working. I used to work in insurance, and I was on the telephone making sales calls, and I went from making about, 30 plus $1,000 a year to making zero. I didn't meet the quota that they wanted me to meet, so they didn't have any use for me. So the biggest thing I had to do was to create part-time businesses while I'm looking for a job. A lot of times people are out there and they're so consumed with the job and they're spending 8 hours a day looking for a job and all these things like that. But what I want to tell somebody too is out there, because I know unemployment is really big right now. Look for the job, but continue sowing into what it is that you need to sow into, because you cannot reap if you do not sow. So look for that job, but also too, work on your purpose. Start a part-time business. A lot of people don't want to pursue their hobbies, their talents. These are some of the things that they're really good, that they're naturally good at, and they can make money with, but people don't want to put that extra effort in, that extra mile in, to be able to help themselves.
Wouldn't you say that's because they're scared? Wouldn't you say that's because and it's also a mentality of this is the way the system works. this is the way you have to do things. And if you don't follow the way that the system is, then you either don't fit into society, or B, you're not going to be able to look after yourself. You have to do it this way. You know, my mum's done it, my grandparents have done it, they've done it, so we have to do it. And they've struggled, so I have to struggle. You know, so they've got, there's a road that's there. Almost like my uncle was a slave, my dad was a slave, then I should be a slave, you know? As opposed to, hold on, they've done these things, let's see what I can do differently. And let's see if I can learn from their mistakes and even be better from that still.
Yeah, it's fear. A lot of people, when they start something, anytime you start something new, a lot of people are like, well, what if this doesn't work? And it comes that time in the beginning, you're trying to figure everything out. And, you know, after a while that it doesn't work, people start to get discouraged really easily, you know. But the thing I would tell anyone out there when you start a business, you know, don't always look at the results, because a lot of times when you first starting something out, it's going to take a while to get those results. But what you have to do is you have to every day you have to get motivated every day. You have to stay enthusiastic. You got to do some research. You got to go out there and maybe ask some questions. Get around people that are doing that similar type of business that you're doing, and try to maybe get some tips that may be able to help you along the way. But also, too, what you want to do is you want to also make sure that every day that you are doing something positive going towards that business. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are discouraged, but they're discouraged because they're wanting overnight success. But they don't realize that success is a process. And you cannot cheat the system, which is the process. You have to every day you have to do something. And the problem is that we're sowing this thing that, okay, Monday we're excited. We work really hard on Monday. Tuesday we work really hard. We're excited. Wednesday, you know what? I'm a little tired. I'm gonna take the day off. Thursday, you know what? You know, I may work a few hours. Friday, you know what? I'm just gonna take a nap. So we have to bring it every day. And, you know, a lot of times people say, you know, how you do a balance, you know, while you're running the business? Well, you have to make a decision. Do you want to be like everyone else and have a balanced life, or do you want to be great? Because if you want to be great, it's a thing called sacrifice. And there is no substitute for sacrifice. You got to grind every day, and you got to give up some things. I give up sleep a lot of times because, you know, it's hard for me to sleep when I'm not where I want to be at. And so if you're out there and you're not where you want to be at, there's some things you may need to do. You may need to change some of the people or friends that you're around. You may need to turn off the TV. You may need to go to sleep a little bit later and wake up a little bit earlier, just to make sure that you're doing enough. Because at the end of the day, it's all about time, and it's all about the time that we put into something. Because as you know, the more time you put into something, the better it's going to be.
Absolutely. How do you come back from, like, being rejected in a job where you've got a feeling of feeling kind of useless and feeling sort of, you know, hopeless? How do you come back from that? How do you come back from that?
Well, here's the thing. You can't take rejection personal. You know, everything is all about a season. And your season, depending on where you are, like, you know, a job or anything like that, it's not forever. You're only there for a particular reason. That could be a few months or a few weeks. You know, so you can't take rejection personal, because everyone is not gonna say yes to you. And you cannot expect everyone to say yes to you. You don't want everyone to say yes to you, because everyone is not a fit to work with you. So if I'm you out there, I would get excited for people to say no to you, because they were not a person for you to work with anyways. And I bet you later on you probably would have been like, wow, man, I made a big mistake working with this person. So be thankful that person said no. But also, too, think about this right here. it's all about averages. When someone tells you no, whether it's sales, marketing, whatever it is, you're halfway to a yes. You just got to stay persistent. Your mindset has to be there, and you just got to just say next. That's the word, is next. Okay, you said no, great, thank you, next.
There are people in this world that struggle with rejection. They struggle badly with rejection. How do they change that process?
Well, again, you just got to just realize that the person who is saying no, a lot of times they're not saying no to you personally. They may not even understand what it is that you're offering them. Because let me give you an example. I mean, I when I was in sales, I was in outside sales, and a lot of times customers, I would ask them if they want a vacation package, and they'll tell me no, so they give me a rejection. But here's the thing I didn't realize, is that they said no because I missed them somewhere. It was a misunderstanding. So a lot of times when they say no, they're not really saying no to you. They just don't understand a lot of times maybe what you're saying, what you're offering them. But I would just tell anybody, don't take it personal, because again, can you imagine if we lived in a world where everyone said yes to us? If you ask somebody something or for something and they say yes, then I mean that would be in a world of unrealistic. So when you ask someone for something and they reject you, I mean that's you really have to just take that, use it as motivation, and believe that the next person is going to say yes. But again, at the end, it's about volume. Okay, if you're trying to sell something, how many people are you going to go up to? If you only go to 2 people, you may get 2 no's. But what if you go up to 10 people? What if you go to 20 people? What if you go to 30, 40? You keep going to someone is going to say yes. They're going to say yes because they're going to be impressed. But then too, each time someone says no, you're actually learning something from that past no, and you're going to use that more the motivation for the next person you go up to.
Well, okay, that sounds well and good. What about if you have a situation where you haven't learnt your lesson, but you're still looking for that yes, even though there's character flaws, or your product's not very good, or you're not very professional, I don't know. What about that? And you're still trying to get the yes.
Well, if your product is bad, that's really, you may have to make some adjustments.
But when do you realize you have to make those adjustments, though?
You realize it after a while, it's been in business and you're not making any money. Because you can only be in business if you're making money. If you're not making any money, then you're just you're gonna have to it's always gonna be a side hustle. And you have to ask yourself, do you want a side hustle or do you want a business? And so you just have to look at, okay, is what I'm doing, is that making me money? Is that going to help me down the road? And if not, then that's when you have to start doing some research. You may have to take away some things. You may have to add some things. You may have to kind of collaborate. One of the biggest things I've been doing over the last couple of years is I started collaborating with people. I started getting in mastermind groups, because with mastermind groups you start getting ideas. You can't be in this thing alone. You got to be willing to join different teams, and just collaborate with someone. If you're a life coach and you coach in life coach, I mean, if you focus on business, you may want to partner with another life coach that focuses on finance, and y'all work together and try to get clients that way. And the good thing about that is you start to cross market each other. That person's marketing you, you're marketing that person. So it's a lot of ways you could do it. But it's about adjustments, because a lot of times people say, oh, I'm not making money. I'm not meant to be an entrepreneur. That's not true. You're meant to be an entrepreneur, but it's all about the right niche. And that's something I had to learn too, because over the last couple of years, I've changed my brand now from all the other things I was doing to now, I do a little bit of courses, speaking, training. Over the last couple of years, I've done some appointment setting for businesses and corporations where I would actually make some cold calls for them. And I'm actually, scheduling appointments and meetings for them to meet with CEOs and all these different things. But I had to kind of find a different niche, and I just didn't want to be like the average motivational speaking author out there because I wanted to be able to stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay, so what makes you stick out like a sore thumb then?
Well, what makes me stick out is one is just I'm a type of person where my overall focus with this whole speaking thing is setbacks. That's my brand. That's what I'm all about. I'm about helping someone, whether they're a corporation, whether they're going through setbacks in their relationships, whether they lost their job. My focus is being able to take them from that setback that they just went through and helping them to change their mindset and be able to transform them into the person that they're really trying to become. So I'm helping them to make a comeback from their setbacks is what I'm doing. So that makes me stick out. But then also too, my story. There's a bunch of motivational speakers out there, but each one of our stories are different, and the way we put our stories are different. So that's what makes me different. My story.
So what's happened now? What's going on with you now? You talked about doing your motivational speaking. What's the greatest feeling about being a motivational speaker?
Well, just really, being genuine, sharing your story, because there's always someone out there who's going through struggles. Like we mentioned before, I mean, right now the world is big with unemployment. There are so many people out of work right now. And you have a lot of people who are just so unmotivated. They have a hard time getting up in the morning time because they're like, why should I get up this morning? Why should I be smiling? I'm struggling right now. I'm broke. I'm not making a lot of money. Why should I be smiling? Why should I be motivated? And so I just like to be able to get a smile on people's face. I want to be able to help people to get into their purpose. So those are the things that really make me happy as a motivational speaker. When I'm coaching someone, and especially someone who's been dealing with procrastination, and I put them through a program, through some training, and I hold them accountable, and I just see the progress they're able to make because now they used to have a hard time making a commitment to something because they would want to do it, but they would put it off. But now that I'm coaching them and they see how motivated and how sold I am on them and how much I believe in them, now they're sold and now they're able to make a commitment on that book that they've been putting on for the last 5 and 10 years.
Shawan, how do people contact you?
Well, you can I mean, I'm pretty much all over the place. You can contact me on my website at the setbackstrategist.com. I'm also on Instagram at the Setback Strategist on Instagram. You can contact me on Facebook. Facebook.com/the Setback Strategist on Facebook. Connect with me. I have weekly videos that I do each week. I do 3 videos a week. Motivation coming from Instagram. So feel free to take a look at my material. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm a very likable person, so I'm not going to ignore you if you inbox me. I'm for helping people, so I'm helping people all the time. So reach out to me. If you're an organization, and you are struggling in different areas of your selling or your team, you want to improve your sales reps, contact me for booking. So definitely reach out to me because I will definitely help you get to where you want to be and where you want to go.
And do you have a main website?
Say that one more time.
A main website.
Yeah, the setbackstrategist.com.
Okay. Shawan, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. We want to make you a regular on the show so people can get to hear from you more and be motivated more. And you're the man to bring them back, to take them out of a setback, correct?
That's it. I'm the man.
Shawan, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Thank you for having me.